I've had the pleasure of knowing Chad and his wife Megan for about 5 years now. They live on my street, and I'm grateful to call them my friends at this point. It's been nice watching Chad with his beginning in city council and then now as mayor. Um, their youngest son Nash is my daughter's age, but he runs around with both of my kids. And Chad coached both of my kids for their first season of T-ball a few years ago. We get together for pool parties and things like that. So I can attest to the kind of person he is in his personal life and now as mayor. Um, Mayor Young has lived in Spring Hill for several years with his wife Megan of 19 years and his 4 children, Avery, Chloe, Weston, and Nash. He was born in Ogden, Kansas, grew up in Cypress, California, and spent summers in Southern Illinois and in Ogden. Mayor Young has over 20 years experience in baking and small business ownership. I thought I'd add a funny little small world story in there too. One day I was scrolling on Facebook and saw that Chad Young had commented on my uncle's post, who lives in Southern California. And I thought, how in the world does he know my uncle? But it turns out that they knew each other through banking, and they both lived in Southern California for a while, both with kids big into baseball. So we made that connection after I saw that post. I thought that was kind of funny. He's a graduate of the Chamber's Leadership Program that we've been doing the last few years, Leadership Spring Hill. And prior to being elected mayor, he served 4 years on the Spring Hill City Council and most recently as council president. Mayor Young has always been someone who takes action rather than sit on the sidelines, and that's what led him to get involved in public service. He is a collaborative leader and is focused on improving transparency and planning for the future of Spring Hill. I really admire his transparency, and I think that we've all kind of started to see a little bit of that play out as he has been the mayor. And knowing him on a personal level, I can say that that's just Chad. He's going to give it to you straight when you ask his opinion, or if you don't. And I think that that's something that we all are really lucky to have in our mayor, in the community that we have right now. So he stepped up and led a very successful write-in campaign when the city needed leadership. I thought that was really impressive, all of the hard work that he put in, and I think everybody knew his name and knew of him when it came time to vote. So he's joined today by his wife Megan, and I'd like your help in welcoming Mayor Chad Young up here to get us all a little bit more on the state of the city.
Yes, good job. Good morning. Is this high enough for me? Page is a little shorter. Thank you, Paige. That was very nice. I was worried she was going to come up here and say a lot of bad stuff about me since I've been around her too much. But thank you. I want to start with, I know we had a big storm this week. I know there was kind of some multiple different types of information coming from the city. We are working on it. We will have some information out this afternoon. Hopefully we'll be hitting the streets to help clean up some of this, some of the debris. And we're working with the rec and other volunteer organizations out there. So thank you for the rec stepping up and everybody else, and really Public Works. They've done a great job so far. I think we're going to continue to do that. So thank you. Well, welcome and thank you to everybody. We are here because the chamber is really good about getting this out here. The city staff has been really good about hosting, and really our sponsors help pay for everything, which is really nice. So I want to say thank you to everybody there. Also want to thank all of our city council members. I don't think people realize how much time and effort everybody puts in their own way. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people are more out in the community, some are less, but for the most part, some do more behind the scenes and so on and so forth. So I want to thank all the city council members along with the school board. I know the school board does the same thing, and a lot of people, at least here in the city, I don't recognize the school board nearly as much. So for me, I do appreciate the school board. On top of that, we have the different county commissions and really just everybody that's involved in the city and local governments. Appreciate you. Spring Hill is made up of community partners, business leaders, and residents who make us great and growing community who we are today. I guess we got the picture of all of our ugly mugs up there, at least mine. So thank you, everybody. We'll move on to I got myself mixed up here. New staff. So we had a lot of changes here in the last year or so. Our police chief went to Johnson County, and we welcomed Chief Sutterby, who's been a great addition so far. Everybody's probably met him. If you haven't, you've seen him around. He's very out in the community. And along with that, we've got 2 new police canines. We have one that's an actual canine and one that's Norm, who you guys will start seeing probably more and more on Facebook. I thought he was going to stand up here with me today just because I was a little nervous. So he's a great dog. So welcome to the police chief. Welcome to the 2 new canines. Unfortunately, Low Key passed away, and that's one reason we had to get a new canine. And so we are thankful for his service. New staff in community development. We have Mike Mallon. He's here, and he has a wealth of knowledge. Comes from a planning background, which is really important right now. We're working on our comp plan and all the different items that we're going through. He's brought in a lot of great ideas as far as zoning and different uses, so that has been a great addition. We did say goodbye to a longtime community development director, Pat Burton, and we want to thank him for his service also. We also added a new city planner, Ian, who's also been great, and a construction inspector, Blake. Jenna Gant, everybody here, if you have Facebook, probably knows who she is. She's standing in the back, and she does our Hill and 60, which is probably my favorite thing that we've added since I've become mayor. I don't know who doesn't like it. I haven't met anybody who's like, that's not good. So it's been a really, really nice addition. So thanks, Jenna. Our staff demographics, we've got 58 staff now, 56 full-time and 2 part-time, and we are growing. So we have a couple of openings still. Obviously, during the summer, we grow with our swimming pool workers. We have lifeguards. We have staff that work in the snack shops and things like that. Next up is we have been investing in our public safety. So when I say public safety, I don't necessarily think just PD. We talk about road improvements, walking ability, and our public safety in the police department. So we did our Safe Streets for All in 2025, and in 26 we are working on going for grants. Allison's done a great job, and we found out some reasons why we didn't get our grants last time, and now we're going back through again and reapplying in a much more strategic way and breaking it up into different groups that hopefully we can have more success in getting some grants towards that about $11 or $12 million worth of projects that SS4A came up with. We are currently working on our 199th Street improvement from Ridgeview to Renner. It hasn't gone as smoothly as I would have loved. We had to shut it down for a little bit, but outside of that, for the most part, it is going pretty well. That is going to be a 4-lane road sometime in the future, whether it be 10 years, 50 years down the road. So that's one reason it's being constructed the way it is. But once it's done, it will be very, very nice to have sidewalks and trails all the way through from the school. We're getting ready to help connect. We're trying to get connected all the way from Foxwood Ranch down to Prairie Ridge. So if we can get that all connected here in the next year or so, it'll be very, very nice. Stoplights at 191st Street. That is scheduled to go out for bid this summer, hopefully in July, if not August. We got $2 million in funding from KDOT, and their fiscal year starts July 1st. So that's what we're kind of waiting on. And we also got $850,000 from the federal money that Sharice Davis helped us get. So we appreciate that from both of those entities. We are also working on 183rd Street. If you remember, there was a truck plaza that was approved a couple of years ago. And although it wasn't super popular, it needed a stoplight to make it move forward. We've had some other people come in and look at that site. And we have some really good retail and restaurant options there that we're looking at, and we do need a stoplight there. So with that, that's what we're planning on, and hopefully we will move forward with more desirable options at that corner. KDOT's doing their 169/K7 study corridor, which is in the works, and it seems like we do study after study after study. But that's kind of one of the things that we are doing and working with them on that, and I think that's supposed to be done here in the fall of 26. We have a street and sidewalk maintenance program for 2026. We just actually approved it, and we will be working on quite a few different things. We have parking lots that are going to be resurfaced over at the pool, the community center. We just purchased the car wash next to Public Works, and that'll be a new parking lot that we can use for our First Friday events and things like that, and then other events that happen down on Main Street. We are working on finding new grant opportunities all the time to help pay for streets and sidewalks, specifically sidewalks, because that seems to be our biggest issue. We're working on a couple good ones now for South Street that has been a big pain point for as long as I've been around, and it would be really nice if we can get that figured out. So Allison, that's on you. I know you're working on it. Spring Hill's growing. Our median household income is up in 2025, showed $112,400. Our median household price is $357,800. In 2025, we issued 388 new housing permits. I think that number is going to fluctuate over the years. We have different types of developments going in, and we have different types of housing. And as those come in, we're going to see those numbers fluctuate. But I think we're starting to get to a point where we have different levels of housing for everybody. I know I have daughters that are just getting out of high school and college, and I want to make sure they have somewhere they can be too here in the city. They want to come back. Our housing developments that are new and upcoming: Fox Hollow, Hidden Hills, Dayton Creek, Wiswell Farms, Woodland Crossing, Garrett Ranch. Some of them are close to being finished, some of them are just starting, and some are kind of in the middle. I think as long as we continue to have a consistent growth, we're going to see some of those other amenities that we really want to have, which is going to be the restaurants and the retail. I know we don't love just seeing houses go up all the time, but I think all of us on the governing body are committed to making sure that the developers that come in are going to be paying for their fair share and making sure they do their part to make sure our city's connected and have the amenities that we need to have. We have a couple new businesses coming to town. There's a new car wash that will be over there by the, what's it called? The pet place. Mellow Yellow, sorry. Mellow Fellow, yeah. Mellow Fellow. I was just there. And they're doing the car wash right behind them, which will be really nice. From what he's told me, there's going to be memberships and things like that. And I think that'll be a really good addition for us. We do have a new concrete ready mix plant that's going to be going right next to the current concrete plant. And they actually do a lot of business with them. So it's going to cut down some of that traffic in that area, which will be really nice. Seats did an expansion this year, which we appreciate Seats. They're a great business or a city partner. Oh, and here it is. Mellow Fellow Doggy Daycare opened this last year. I could have just looked down. We did merge with Water One as a water provider for the Spring Hill City water residents. It's been kind of a point of contention, and I understand the frustrations that come along with it. I've tried to put out as much information as I can to help with why we went that route. I know that I went back and forth with all the different options, and I know I kind of gave our city staff heck for it back when we did it, but it did seem, and it still does seem to be the best option for the small section of city water that we had under control. And so I do think it will be a success as time goes on. So our city budget, the city receives about 16 cents of every tax dollar that you pay. I think a lot of times we think, I know I did before I got involved, that we're moving on. Where's the other slide? That one, there we go. So as you can see here, I'm putting the school district on blast. Theirs is huge, but they have a lot going on. So ours is 16 cents. So when you look at it, you know, you do pay a lot in taxes, and we all do, and it's not something that we love to do. And we've been trying our best every year to move that mill levy down and get us an actual dollar savings. And last year we were able to do that, and I think we're going to continue working on that going forward. We can't control your appraisals, we can't control a lot of things, but what we can control is what you're paying to us, and that's what we're going to try and do. The other way we can help is by adding more commercial businesses. And a lot of times we hear we don't really want to grow in the industrial or commercial way. We kind of have to figure out what it is we want to do moving forward, and I think this comprehensive plan is going to help us figure that out. And I want to make sure everybody stays involved, because if we don't have feedback, we're just going to run with what we think, and that's not always what's popular. So I just encourage everybody to stay involved. As a side note, we did go down 1.1 mils last year, which I think, Rhonda, is she in here? What was it, like $7 per 100,000 or something like that? So for every 100,000 your appraised value, you saved about $7 from the previous year. Looking ahead to this year as the city grows. So our 2026 budget, we work with a $37.2 million total city budget. We have a AA bond rating. That reflects kind of a residential growth. We have pretty strong reserves, and we do pretty good financial management wise. I think we're trying to toe that line of reserves and using cash for projects and things that we need to do. I think we've done a pretty good job. We'll continue to work on that, and that's always going to be something that is going to be a fine line of, do we have the reserves to keep our bond rating good for when we do have to get lending? And that's a very important thing. So we also are, obviously we're looking at the comprehensive plan. We are looking at code and zoning updates also. We're kind of doing that in the short term. Anybody that's been involved in our planning processes recently, Mike Mallon has been working really hard, and Ian have been working really hard on figuring out stopgaps that we can use in the meantime. Our plan is to finish the comp plan by the end of this year. So we're going to try to put some additional zoning, some additional code changes in to help us as we get there, so that we don't have kind of flip it decision-making abilities through the next 6 months. 183rd Street seems to be our big commercial growth pattern. You'll see over there that that's where we've got the new concrete plant. We've constantly got people coming in looking at that area. And we've done a good job of bringing in businesses over there that don't look for tax abatements, so they kind of hit the tax roll pretty quickly. And that's really an important thing. I don't think we have to hit, grand slams or triples every single time. I think we can go out and hit a couple singles and have good small businesses that move in and pay taxes right away and join the effort for us. We are looking at adding a wastewater treatment plant. Ours is getting to the point where we're getting pretty full. And that's one thing that we don't love to talk about or think about, because when we flush that toilet, we don't want it coming back up. And so we have to kind of get ahead of it. We've got probably 5 to 10 years based off our current growth. If we have any large development happen as far as commercially, it'll be a lot quicker than that. So we have different things we're looking at. We've purchased land way down south that kind of gets us outside of the Hillsdale Reserve area and kind of gives us the ability to make quite a larger wastewater plant, and we could be a regional type of plant. We're looking at every which way to fund that, so it's not going to be on the backs of current residents solely. We're looking at federal funding, state funding. How can we work with other cities to take on some of their usage to help pay for it? So no decisions will be made, I can guarantee you that, until we have lockstep what we're going to do. So don't think that we're just running around throwing these huge numbers around. It will be made in the right way. We are working on the construction of our northeast and northwest sewer system lines. We basically have a ton of area up in our northeast and northwest side of the city that is available for land use, houses, commercial, industrial. And so we want to make sure that we have sewer lines ready for that. And we kind of are ahead of the game, because when we're talking about those border lines with other cities, we want to make sure that we have something that we can offer outside of tax abatements, because we don't want to just throw the farm away, and give everything up. We want to be able to give other options of why to come here and why we can be attractive. My goal for, me in this position was to really increase transparency. I think we've tried to do that. We're increasing the different ways that we're reaching out to the community. It's not perfect. It's not ever going to be perfect, but if we can get better every day, that's all I can really ask for, and I feel like we have. I hope everybody, like I said, I mentioned before, the Hill and 60, it seems to be the best thing right now that we have that gets information out quickly and in short term. I know I have a hard time watching anything more than 50 to 60 seconds, so that's why we try to keep it to that. And we're going to continue to have those. We're trying to make sure that people know who the city staff is, so we know who the council members are, who the planning commission members are, even some of our lower boards like cemetery and parks who do work that nobody ever, that's thankless work. Nobody ever thanks them for that. So I want to make sure that we humanize everybody that's involved, because everybody that works doesn't necessarily get paid. We get a small stipend in the governing body, but everybody else is 100% volunteer. And I believe the school district's the same way. So we need to remember that all these people live here and they are doing their best to help the community. Other transparency items, we're just gonna, continue to do what I can, address things as they come up. Follow my Facebook page if you don't already. You may not like what I have to say, like Paige said, but I will say at least what I hope is going to happen, and we'll move forward with the most honest feedback I can give. Our city amenities is next up. We've got Veterans Park. That was a big thing that Mayor Berkey helped get across the finish line, and it's a pretty cool park. I've been out there quite a few times. My sons love to fish. We've been out there for that. And really, they've got the dog park. There's all kinds of stuff out there. It's pretty cool. Plus the Veterans Memorial. City Park, obviously we do our fall festival there and everything else, so that's a nice area. The Aquatic Center. When we first moved here, the Aquatic Center, I don't think had any, like half the slides didn't work. Mark's been around long enough, he probably knows, but half the slides didn't work. There were certain areas of the pool that were always closed down. That was one of the important things we did a couple of years ago, got everything opened up and working. We've had leak issues, we've had all kinds of stuff, but we have made sure that everything has been open and for the most part working all season long. So that's important to me. The Johnson County Library, that is reopening here on June 3rd. I actually just met with Julie and the gal from the library, and it looks awesome. I think it's going to be really cool. There is no grand opening for it, but I think we're going to do some soft events for it to try to get some, and there's going to be a lot more usage time. There's going to be some registering that needs to happen so that you can get a key card, but there's going to be after hours access for people that are members, and I think it's going to be really, really nice for the community. Spring Hill Recreation Commission. What good can I say about them? No, I'm just kidding. No, they're good. They're great, right? They have all kinds of things my kids play. My kids have played in it over the years. The activities they involve. The vault actually just went for my first birthday party over there. That was really pretty cool. I was like, oh, I might come hang out over here. I like video games, but it was pretty cool. There's a lot of different things. We want to make sure that we help them and they help us move forward. And I think this effort with the tree limb thing is really going to be nice because the rec is really going to take a big step in that. That's really all I have. I want to thank everybody for coming today and for helping me get to this position. Like I said, it was unconventional with the write-in campaign. It was kind of overwhelming to see the turnout that we got, which was great. I want to thank Rodolfo in that too, because without him, I don't think the word would have gotten out nearly as much. He had a great turnout too. I mean, we had just a wonderful turnout in that election. If you don't know me already, I'm going to try and go out there and I'll put all my contact information on my Facebook page, but you can call, email me, text me. Texting might be the quickest way sometimes to get a hold of me, but I will put all that information out. But anytime you guys have anything that you need to talk about, have a concern, whatever it is, let me know. I'm an open book. I will tell you what I think. Sometimes, like I said, you won't like it, but I will tell you what I think and then try to get to the bottom and help you. But again, thank you very much. That's all I have. Oh, what?
Thank you for that great update on the city, and we have a gift for you.
Okay.
So I kind of did a little recon, so I hope it's something you like.
Do I have to open it in front of
No,
everybody?
you don't have to. No, yeah. It's heavy though.
Oh. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so I just want to thank Paige for emceeing today in such a lovely way. If you guys could all do us just a little bit of housekeeping and take your